In this lecture, you will see how to generate your first web page. So go to your editor and copy the same first program you've already done. You save. Okay, where do you save it? You are coding a web page. Then it has to be used by the server. You have to put the file in a folder the server knows. So you launch XAMPP and you go to Manage Servers. Here you can launch your web server if it's down. You go to Configure and then open Conf file. And you search document root here. So that's the folder where you have to put all web files. You open this folder and see the files already there. If you open your browser to localhost, you see the address is changed to dashboard, which you can see is a folder in the document root. In fact, when the server gets your request to see the address localhost, the server runs by default index.php, which is here. Open it. There is some code, but here you have the header function which redirects to dashboard. And if you look into this folder, there is no index.php, but a index.html, which is also open by default. And if you copy this HTML file into the parent folder, then you have two indexes files, one HTML and one PHP. And if you enter again localhost in your browser, what is the page the server uses? It is HTML. If you look again the server configuration file and search directory index, you see the order of the files that are used by default when the server must display a folder. First is index.html, then index.html.var, then index.php, and then index.php3 and 4. And if you have none of these files, the server displays the folder content. And this can be dangerous, as some pirates can find precious information to hack your site. You can easily prevent that with one line of code. If there is a file called .htaccess, if not, create the file. Add the line option-indexes to prevent folder listing. Then, when you run the address again, accidentally, it means forbidden. So you can't access the folder. And it's the same for image folder. Dashboard is still working. And if you set index.php back, the script is run. So if you go back to your file and save it to the folder Applications, XAMPP, htdocs, you create a folder first and save index.php. You test it. That's it. If you look at the source, you see only hello world. It's not really a web page, as HTML code is missing. So you add it, echo HTML, body, and now you have it. You can see the HTML code is inline. If for whatever reason you want it formatted, you can add a line feed. So var line feed, and we concatenate it, and the same here. You add another message like, this is my first web page. You can see a HTML line feed is missing, so you add it. Okay, you can now generate a HTML page with built-in values, because hello world and the other message are not in variables. So use a variable. Here, welcome. And here, message. This way you separate data from the rendering, and this is one big principle of bulletproof program. It's a little bit annoying to display HTML code with the echo function. Here the HTML code is quite short, but if it gets longer, it becomes a little bit annoying to display HTML code with the echo function. When you have to integrate a HTML design, like you will do, you have to echo every line, and it becomes quickly a pain in the ass. So there is another way to render HTML files. If you add some text outside of the PHP block, let's say I'm the end of the page, you can see it's displayed because it's not a PHP code and it is simply displayed. So you can use this for your HTML code. You insert the HTML tags. Thanks to Sublime, the work is easier. And now, how do you inject the data in the HTML? You mix HTML and PHP. Here, the PHP block echo welcome, and here echo message. And if you look the source code, you see two HTML documents. In the next lecture, you will organize a little bit your code and discover a new data structure.